Today, I'm honored and pleased to have with us Piotr from Piwik PRO. Piotr, it's a pleasure to have you.
It's a pleasure. Thanks, Enrico, for having me.
Piotr is the CEO for the Piwik PRO, and could you tell more about you, what you do, or your history, so people that maybe less people don't know what you do or you are?
Yeah, definitely. So I've been with Piwik PRO for almost a decade, and now in the role of the CEO. Apart from being the CEO of an analytics company, I'm also a lecturer in postgraduate courses on internet marketing on one of the universities here in Poland. As for Piwik PRO, we built together an analytics platform that is now used by more than 10,000 monthly active marketers and well over 700 businesses and governments.
Fantastic. So let's start with our conversation. First question, and I think it's the hottest one. How is the state of the art of analytics right now?
Yeah, I think it is ever evolving. It had its moments of stability years ago. Analytics has been around from the 90s. So for some, it is like dinosaur type of vertical already. But, with Google Universal Analytics recently going away and the privacy laws, it kind of revived a little bit. And now I would say that it is quite fast evolving. So first of all, what we see is very close collaboration between the data and compliance team, it being essential for making any analytics projects possible nowadays. We obviously have the GA4, so Google Analytics 4 represent a major departure from Universal Analytics, and I would say that Google Analytics basically forfeited marketers as their persona, and we can talk about that. Definitely a Pandora box of a conversation. Another big thing that I see is that there is just less data available, and this is echoed by many industry veterans already. And the focus is on maximizing the utility of the data that is accessible to you. From a vendor perspective, I would say that there is also a thing that I can tell you that marketers are likely to adopt more cost-effective tools or suites of products to accomplish their goals. So they don't want to patchwork their analytics program with different tools. They would rather have something all in one. And I would say that this is a sine function. Depending on the decade of analytics industry, you either have suite of products or many different solutions now with looming crisis. I would say on general markets, I would say that the suites are back. And yeah, last thing that I would mention, if you want to get into details of any, then we can definitely do that, is that I think that anonymous and aggregated data will play a more significant role in analytics strategies as well.
Yeah, totally agree. And you touched 2 points that could be very interesting, more than 2 points, but the first one is related to Universal Analytics, because we got to switch from a tool named Universal Analytics or Google Universal Analytics to GA4, and I think only the name remained the same, but it's a different tool instead of Universal or GA4. And the question is that do you think that the sunset of Universal Analytics or GA3 has relaunched analytics tools that previously has no visibility? I ask you because, again, starting with GA4, in my opinion, is not properly filling the hole left by Universal at the moment. What do you think about that?
Yeah, definitely. So I think like that it's a major departure from what universal analytics stands for or standard for. Like it was a solution that taught how to be a digital analyst, I would say. So now the GA4 is more aimed toward the technical marketer or a hardcore data analyst, rather than like a traditional users that were the main persona in the past, like marketing managers or content creators, even CRO experts. Like I think are not really accustomed to what GA4 actually is, and it truly left a blank spot on the market, as you diagnose it. First of all, we've seen tools that are from a different industry trying to take universal analytics place. A good example of that would be Amplitude. A predominantly product analytics company that is trying to make its name after the Google Universal Analytics, and we root for them. Definitely, there's plenty of use cases, and maybe just a shout out to Adam. Hi. Now that's one player or a type of player that entered this void. Left. For Piwik PRO, we grew from the moment Google decided to sunset Universal Analytics more than 50% annually every year from the moment then they have announced it. So it was definitely a blast for us, a ride. And there are more than 36 of very small platforms positioning themselves as Universal Analytics. And this was around 2021 to 2023 that they came and went away. Now 2024, I don't believe is produces many new analytics players, but definitely those that made a name for themselves didn't die. They have their own audiences, and it's great. I think like maybe people wouldn't necessarily understand what happened, but for me, it is the fact that GA4 is clearly tailored to advanced technical teams that rely heavily on Google Ads and data warehouses. It's no longer a universal solution, and it also demands integration with its own ecosystem. So it's more of a vendor lock-in for me. So you have to use Google Tag Manager, Cloud Platform, Looker Studio. To access the data, you have to use Google's BigQuery. And then there are people who say that it is only a measurement protocol for Google Ads. Yeah, so it's like that. It's quite hectic, and I believe that this really created an opening for everyone else, which is good and healthy.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we have a lot of space in the market for other tools that could be very, very useful and could fix some trouble that we had, for example, in GA4. Yeah. You said a second thing that is related to anonymous data, and maybe in the past we have the data without sampling, for example. I mean, in the 2010-9, before GDPR, because you said dinosaur. Here I am, one of the dinosaurs.
I'm sorry.
Don't worry. And I started in 2005, so we read the log file, so you can understand how dinosaur could be. But related to analysis data, data without sampling, so some data that could be useful for I can say tools, but also for marketers, because tools are useful if you are able to use them to get insight for marketers. Something that could be related, and I can see, is that now everything is artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence, sometimes, more often, equal ChatGPT, or now I can say Gemini, Copilot, whatever you want. But I want to understand from your perspective, how is the role of the artificial intelligence in digital marketing right now? Because again, everything, if I close my laptop, is artificial intelligence. So I need to, I want to understand and to clarify from your side, what is artificial intelligence for digital marketers?
Yeah, that's true. Like everything is an AI right now, and while I'm not an AI expert, I'm really genuinely excited about the value it brings. Like just to be more concrete, unlike the crypto hype, AI offers real immediate benefits, and I believe since we are all digital marketers over here, like we can already see it. It plays a significant role already in content creation. Which I see as a core part of digital marketing, and I'm looking forward to improved AI solutions, especially in creative and performance marketing. That's where I believe the main development will happen. Obviously, there are dangers like blunt content being produced, AI company trackers infringing on intellectual property. So there are things to be solved here. I'm not all in on it, but marketers will likely engage with AI-driven solution, which are black boxes. Instead of working as they are working right now, they will be refining prompts for better outputs, and this is already a trend that we've seen with Google's Performance Max campaigns, right? Despite the opacity of its mechanics, it's being widely utilized. And the trend is driven by time constraints and effectiveness of these tools. So, you have less time to do your job. So you kind of turn on the black box and it works. And even if people see that, it's maybe uninspiring type of job, it will become a standard anyway for a lot of companies, unfortunately. So this is how I look at that from a marketer's perspective. More specifically for analytics, especially at the company, we're exploring customer consent for machine learning. So we believe that before you kind of tackle analytics data, clickstream data, you have to have consent opt-in from the businesses. Then, but also like when our customers will opt in, they already will gain access to valuable features like anomaly detection. So basically something that flags irregularities in the clickstream data. So that's the a first avenue for growth for us. But going back to your original question, like looking ahead, I think conversational interfaces like the ChatGPT style chats might become standard in analytics tools like Google Analytics or Piwik PRO, potentially integrating with multiple data sources to provide insights. But I think an even more likely scenario will be that it will be the other way around, so that the analytics platform will become just another data source for data warehouses that will have embedded chats. So from our perspective, it's a gamble how it will play out. I think more likely it will become the fact that it will be external to analytics platform, the type of use of those regular chats.
Yeah, I think it's something that could be, in my opinion, is that artificial intelligence could be useful from our internal related to how we can prepare data and get the, I'm gonna say, the boring works when you have to prepare tables, something like that. But I think that we need to understand the users, because this is one of the most important thing. I mean that marketers right now, for example, pretend when you open Piwik Analytics, whatever you want, hey Google or hey Piwik, give me the information related to the prediction for 2025 in sales or something like that. So I think that something related to chat or bot or something like that maybe need to be going this path or this trade race in order to get something for the digital marketer.
Yeah, I have to say here, like we're actually exploring how to maybe flag the bot traffic. We already have working POCs for that. It's just that I don't think that necessarily it has to have anything to do with the AI that we understand, like large language models. Like that's for quality, for maybe producing presentations, talking about the data already gathered. That's a fair use case. But for maybe flagging some of the traffic, you can use like regular machine learning that's been around for quite some time, but just incorporated very, very smartly.
Okay. Just to remain on the same page, we usually, as marketers and analysts, talk with keyword based on 3 letters like CMP, CDP, DCP, something like that, cookieless, and so on. So a lot of, how can I say, a messy word with all of these terms. What do you think about that related to the near future? Like now we are talking about cookieless world, but we rely again on cookies. We rely on something that could be pretty new, like first-party data, but we had first-party data before we had the cookie in the past. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree. This is a mess, and I could take every abbreviation one by one and nail a hammer next to in their coffins to put them to rest. Finally, some grind my gears more than the others. I think the CMP is actually least confusing for me. Obviously, I could talk in details how I would prefer solution for consent that doesn't rely on disruptive pop-ups, which is more annoying than the fact that it's abbreviation. But we've been there, and things like do not track didn't work, and giving browsers like Google Chrome more control isn't ideal for privacy and user autonomy. So that's probably least controversial. But with the CDP and cookieless, I have more stronger opinions. So especially cookieless, it's a hype which is super misleading, and it's frustrating to see influencers or on platforms like LinkedIn and X perpetuate this narrative. It's actually tempting for me to call them out for spreading misinformation, especially that what they really meant was third-party cookies, and they're not getting away from Chrome, as we know right now, and it's just maybe a sales slogan to charge some services, I guess, which is not nice, not genuine, and I don't like it. Not sure what's your take on that, but I hope it's similar.
Quite similar. Put in, put out. Okay, I'm joking.
Yeah. With the CDPs, though, like the term can be confusing, and honestly, it also I have also strong feelings that we should drop it entirely. But as the space matures, I expect some companies, potentially Piwik PRO included, will adopt some, let's call it like context-specific names. But currently, like if you focus on things that do activation and are integrated with analytics, there are only few players like us or Amplitude. So, and for convenience, we use CDP, but I would rather go back to something that is more concrete.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So the most switching to another thing, the most, I guess, complicated question. Could you give some suggestion to people who want to start data analyst career?
Like from the zero start, or
Maybe.
Yeah. Okay. So if you're starting from zero and just want to break into data analyst career, I think you should start with a university degree, at least in Europe, maybe in US, not necessarily, but combine that with, say, a few dozen well-prepared pitches to business leaders where you understand their pain points. Maybe will get you a foot in the door to become like an intern or something like that. And for everyone beginning their data analyst career, I would recommend keeping it practical and focus on business impact, rather than jumping straight into complex technical skills, which I see all over internet actually. Like, I think this is the main thing that is lacking. Like, first of all, like, focus on business impact. People are jumping straight into advanced technical skills like building data pipelines, learning SQL, maybe start just by understanding how data can drive revenue or reduce costs, but maybe focus on revenue first. Like, if you have an idea how to turn data into revenue, then everybody would like to hire you already, and you don't have to have those technical skills. They can come later. So the key things that you need to do is engage stakeholders, and this basically means being able to talk to them. If I were to start, I would talk to sales and marketing leaders, understand what metrics matter most to them. Also, like, collaborate with line managers. So a lot of talking. Once you identify, the recurring needs across the company that you got a job at, you'll start seeing the areas where your insights can make the biggest impact. And then I wouldn't jump into learning the tools and everything. Again, I would use the tools and resources you already have, even if they're painful to use. I wouldn't do purchasing costly tools or massive tracking overhauls right away because we just need this additional piece of data. This is bullshit. Like, you shouldn't kind of do that. Start by making most of those tools that are already available, even if they're not perfect. Like, you can build stories. They can have loopholes. They can be biased, whatever. But build stories, acknowledge the limitations, and present the insights that you have, hunches maybe that you have, backed by some of the data that you were able to collect, and then maybe invest in essential skills. Like, once those hunches convert to some early revenue, then you can start thinking about improving yourselves, your foundations in math, statistics, and learning a bit of SQL on the side. This is how you develop, I guess. At first, somebody can help you out with this very technical job, but you need the buy-in from the organization. So I would say that when you follow those steps, so focusing on business impact and engage the stakeholders, talk to them, use whatever resources you have. Once you prove that you can make a real impact, this is where you graduate in your job as a data analyst.
Great. We are on the same page. So this is something that from me related to how you think about how to start from scratch. Usually said, don't start, change. Don't do data analyst courses or careers because it's a mess right now. Joking apart, start from the business and then developing every type of skills that you need.
Yeah, exactly. Especially that, it's super tempting. Like, I also myself, like, I have some coding experience and it gives me pleasure to learn a new language maybe, but it doesn't do the job. It is just something for me to make me feel better. But ultimately just want to be a better data analyst, and tools won't get you there, and programming languages as well.
Yeah, totally down on that. Yeah. And have you any spoiler about Piwik PRO? We are just on the end of the year. Just to understand if there is something that is new or we are going to do something.
Yeah, definitely. So we're on like the last 2 or 3 sprints before we will release one of the latest developments, and it will come out in January. So we'll make our data activation piece, which we call CDP. Sorry, Enrico. We'll make it available for free, completely free. And I believe this is massive because it will be the first completely free with a very generous limit customer data platform on the market that is tightly integrated with an analytics platform. And it just closes the loop. Analytics ends at reporting, taking action nuts out of the tool. I hope that we will teach a new generation of data analysts and marketers in doing activations based on the analytics data, because you can generate like unlimited number of use cases out of that piece of technology, and I hope that this will happen.
Wow, you drop a mind-blowing little spoiler, but guys, follow Piotr and try Piwik PRO, because CDP that is free for, or I can say for all, is something pretty important. So I want to try it when it's ready.
Yeah, please do.
Absolutely. And last question: where we can hear from you in the web?
Oh, I'm only on LinkedIn. Fortunately or unfortunately, please just connect. And if you want to engage, we can chat one-to-one, or you can just follow me and see where we are, what we're up, where we're up to.
Perfect. So we are reaching the end of this podcast, this episode. So thank you, Piotr, to be here. And thank you guys for listening or watching the podcast, depending on where are you going to. And stay tuned for another episode of Data Never Lie, and try Piwik PRO with the new feature.
Definitely.
Thank you, guys. See you soon.
Thank you, Enrico. Bye-bye.
And